I've worked for Millennium since they started in January 11th, 2011, and they've just been great. Family wage job. I can support my family. I have a son here that goes to school locally, grandkids, and live here in Longview, spend our money here in Longview, and we need more of that.
It's a long-term commitment to the community in tax revenues to help with schools, which we desperately need.
Private ports in the state of Washington are the driving force for our trade-dependent economy.
One of the things that really impressed me about Millennium when they came to town was the difference that the extra effort they took to build the relationships and come talk to us instead of us as union labor trying to track down this company and find out if they were going to be interested in using us or not. They found us and asked, what can we do to make this a good project for you guys?
When you have an investment opportunity like this in trade infrastructure, I mean, it's fantastic. The amounts that you're talking, you know, $750 to $1 billion by the time it's all said and done and built of investment in this community, which is an established industrial corridor for some 70 years. It's fantastic.
This company has complied with every single condition that they've been asked to in the environmental impact statement. They've gone overboard in some cases and actually done more than they needed to do. And the other side of the coin is we're getting a site that was really unusable because of the contamination that was in it before. That is now being brought back into the economy as well as a proposed terminal area. So it's taken too long. We don't want our region to be associated with hard to get, expensive, overly long permit process. The process is hard, but it should be able to go through it in a regulated way.
Oh, Millennium is doing a great job of cleaning up the site. I've been down there numerous times, and in my previous job before I was in the legislature, I had reason to go down there before Millennium showed up, and I can tell you it was a mess. It was really a mess environmentally, as well as just a mess that isn't environmentally. There was junk piled everywhere, and I'm really quite pleased, and they should be proud of themselves of how much they've done to clean up the mess that was left by the previous owner.
Folks that live here, they love their environment. They like to go fishing, like to go hunting, they like to go hiking, all those kind of things around here. So we're very cognizant of making sure that we're going to build the most environmentally sound facility that we can. And again, it's not just about one particular commodity, it's about an export facility. You know, if one commodity goes away, another one will take its place. And so Millennium's doing a really good job of both cleaning up a brownfield, quite frankly, and putting in a world-class clean facility that can export whatever commodity is available for export.
This terminal is important because it will protect jobs. Jobs in the state of Wyoming, jobs in the state of Washington. More importantly, it will create jobs.
This project is of vital importance to the economy of the state of Montana, and I would suggest, having lived here in Washington State for over 30 years as well, to the economies of Idaho and Washington as a very productive component of a vital economy that we so desperately need at this time.
We Washingtonians should relish companies smartly investing in our environment and committing their time and their resources to uphold our state.
And it's an important thing to keep thinking forward and not just getting stuck on short-term issues like, is coal dust an issue, which we know it's not if you just look at the facts on that.
In 2006, BNSF started to study coal dust on itself, or by itself. We looked at the mining sites where we're having some issues with coal dust in our ballast. And so we started to require the mines to load it in that bread loaf shape and to also start applying a surfactant, think of it as an Elmer's glue onto the rail cars. We believed that largely solved the coal dust issue, but in 2014 we added an extra layer even. In Pasco, Washington, we've opened a second respray facility that adds a second topping agent on our rail cars. So we could go on and on about coal dust. It's not an issue. Capacity is not an issue. Let's get this project done. We've got over 4,500 of our employees sitting at home because we don't have enough volume to move. Let's get those folks back to work in Montana and Wyoming and Washington.
I've been in the Spokane area for 21 years. I've served as sheriff for over 10 years. And I can tell you that if this project jeopardized the safety of my community, I would not support it. However, this project does not jeopardize the safety of our community. It will make our community stronger.
So we know 40% of all jobs in this state are tied to trade. That's a great thing for our state. The challenges and the opportunity is, how do we grow more of it? And this is a type of a project that will do that. And we know that we're connected together on trade. This is not about Puget Sound. This isn't about Eastern Washington. This is about all of Washington being connected together around trade and jobs and exporting the great things that we make in the state of Washington.
I am extremely supportive and thankful for what Millennium is trying to do in Washington State and the investments they're making in Washington State and in the Longview area. I just am so excited because when you poll the citizens of Washington State in this upcoming election cycle and ask them what is the most important thing to you, the number one thing to our citizens of Washington State is jobs. They just want jobs. They want family wage jobs so they can support themselves and their families. They don't want another government program. They want jobs. And Millennium is doing that with the projects that they're building in Washington State, in the investments they're making. Millennium is trying to take care of that problem. They're trying to help us export more of the natural resources we have in the United States of America. It's a win-win proposition.
I'm a supporter of this project because for many reasons, actually. I'm a farmer in my real life, and the state of Washington exports, foreign trade, having markets around the world is just so critical to our success. So the ability for our producers in the agricultural world, whether it's farmers or processors, manufacturers, the ability to get that product to market is just so important for us, for our success, for our future, for our growth. And so we need to continue to encourage projects like Millennium so that we can have a future that it's strong for the next generation of producers. The number of jobs that we're talking about, the amount of tax revenue is huge, both on the state and local levels, the federal level. There's so many good things that come from a project when we all pull together and build infrastructure that allows our economy to grow, that provides great jobs for a lot of people, and then, like I said, provides for just a tremendous future for our agricultural industry. It's an easy decision to support a project like Millennium because of all the good things that can come out of this.
I've been running trains for 22 years. I've been 21 years as a locomotive engineer. And I looked for the coal dust, once it was actually made an issue, because through the time that I've been on the railroad, I never heard of coal dust being an issue until the thought of Millennium, actually providing a coal terminal or export terminal. So with that, coal dust is a non-issue. I've talked to many of environmentalists, a lot of disinformation out there, and like I said, facts, make it what it is.
I went on the tour of the Burlington Northern Santa Fe respray facility here in Pasco, and a fascinating project to see what they do, to the extent that people in these industries will go to protect the environment and the product. It's interesting to me that the amount of technology that was deployed in order to create that respray facility, they have invested $23 million to make sure that no dust emerges from the coal dust emerges from the cars, and they can spray 100 cars in less than 7 minutes. It's actually a miracle of engineering.
5 years now, this EIS review has been taking place. A lot of money's been put into it, the investment, which is necessary. Okay, they followed the letter of the rule, within the bookends. The process is near completion. They've done it right. So as far as providing jobs to railroad employees, it's pivotal.
As we talk about this project, though, it's troubling to hear that we're 4+ years into an environmental impact study here. Employers and employees really need certainty, predictability, and reliability in that regulatory and permitting process. 4+ years does not seem like consistency and predictability in a regulatory and permitting process.
I'm really looking forward to seeing this project finished. We've taken too long. We've wasted too much money, and it's now time to get down and get the work done.
If you care about the citizens of Washington State, you'll support this Millennium project like I do.